Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Primrose and Pearl Bath Products. I am Melinda, the owner slash creator. I can never think of a good title, whatever you want to call me, for Primrose and Pearl. Today I am making the second in a series of soaps inspired by the movie Inside Out or Inside Out 2. This one today I am working on is called Core Memories. It is based off of the little orbs that are featured in the movie containing all of Riley's different core memories, and they're colored based off of the emotion that that memory is associated with. As you can see, the first thing I'm doing is splitting my batch of soap batter into 5 different containers. The soap will have 5 different colors as the base, representing the different emotions from the original Inside Out movie. So the characters there were joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. So my colors will be yellow, blue, red, purple, and green to represent those emotions. I'm going to go ahead and mix all of my colorants in, and then I will be back to start my pour. Okay, I blended all of my colors in by hand. Now that I've done that, I'm going to add a little bit of the fragrance oil to each one. The fragrance oil I'm using is ginger and lime, and I have used this one before, and I completely forgot about how bad it riced. If you watched my previous video about the making of Sunrise in the Garden soap from the spring collection, you'll remember how awfully that riced on me, and it did it again because I forgot, and I don't keep fragrance notes because squirrel brain. So I immediately realized that, or remembered, I should say, how badly this one riced. So I had to change my plan a little bit. I couldn't do the in the pot swirl that I originally really wanted to do, and I had to go back in with my stick blender and blend out all of the little chunks from the ricing. Ricing is basically where it curdles. You can see it here more in the purple because it had sat for a little bit. The fragrance oil, when you put it into the soap batter, essentially curdles, and it makes this like chunky bit. So here's where you can see I realized that with all of my stick blending, I'm not going to be able to do the in the pot swirl that I originally planned on. So I move on to plan B, which is get the soap into the mold as quickly as I can and then figure out a plan later. You can see on that green particularly, I couldn't even pour it. Like, it just had thickened up from all of the stick blending and from the fragrance oil. So here I go, trying to get things in as quickly as I can. I think that's the one thing about soaping is you really have to be ready to change plans on the fly because you never know how a certain fragrance is going to react, or colors might not come out the way that you anticipated, or you could just, test fragrance oils and do things in colors before you use them, but I fly by the seat of my pants a lot with my reckless abandon. So colors are going in. I am able to somewhat layer them. So I'm going to finish getting all of my colors in, and then we'll come back. All right, my colors are in. I banged the heck out of the mold to get any air bubbles out from having to scoop essentially the different colors in. And now I am going in with my handy dandy clothes hanger. Just a plain old clothes hanger. I'm trying to get these colors to swirl together, and the batter is so thick. I'm not that worried about muddying the colors together. Sometimes you have to be careful, especially when you've got things like red and green together and purple and yellow together, that the colors will get really muddy, but this batter was so thick, I really did not worry about that. I'm scraping out the last little bit of each of the colors onto the top of the soap, and then I'm going to swirl it, and then I'm going to come back and top it with a special something I put together. All right, my soap is all nice and swirled, and here is what I made to go on the top of the soap. These are embeds to represent the different core memory orbs. I made them in the different colors of the original emotions, and I made them out of what's known as melt and pour soap. It's a glycerin-based soap that you can get, and it's literally you put it in the microwave and you can melt it down and add color or fragrance or both, and then pour it into a mold. For this one, I used a gumball silicone mold to get the shape that I wanted. I'm laying these out, and I was trying to be random about my placement, but also not pick weird color combinations. I think after I did the first one and I was like, oh, I put red and green next to each other. That's very Christmassy. I kind of tried to switch it up more, but it was hard with only having the 5 colors to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and finish placing all of these and then be back to finish up. I got done placing all of the embeds on the top, and I decided it needed some sparkle. So I'm using Super Sparkles from Nurture Soap and just lightly dusting. I like that this is a really fine glitter that you can put on the top, and it's like a white, so it's pretty neutral. Here is the close-up of the top with all of that beautiful glitter. I added the glitter because in the movie the orbs are very shiny, and I thought that would help with the shininess effect of it. Here's the soap the next day. I'm going to get ready to cut it so it slides out of the wooden box, and then I pull away that silicone liner and get ready to slice up the soap. I was really nervous before I cut this one because I had no idea how the swirl was going to turn out in the inside given how thick everything had gotten. Especially when I looked at the very end of it, it didn't look like it had swirled very much. Taking the little end off, and I had to do a quick peek. And now I'll go ahead and cut the first bar and do the actual color reveal. I forgot to grab my paper towel. I like to wipe off my cutting wire in between so that it lessens the drag marks. Lining that up, getting that first cut so I don't cut off the embeds, and here it is on the inside. I was so happy when I saw it. It really gave me tie-dye vibes, which I loved. I was so worried that there wouldn't be any good swirls or anything on the inside, but it really turned out beautiful, and it's even better in person. I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of the bar so you can see how the different variations of color happen throughout the rest of the soap loaf. All right, I am cutting the very last bar here. I had to take off a little extra because the end got wonky, but what do you think? Do you love the tie-dye vibe? This one's my favorite because it looks like a heart. Thank you so much for watching today. Until next time.